I still remember that Sunday afternoon. The sky was cloudy, moody, like it already knew something was about to shift inside me. I hadn't seen Jason in almost 6 years, not since college. We'd always been close, just not that kind of close. You know, the kind where you fall asleep entangled in sheets. No, Jason was the best guy friend, the one who drove me to urgent care when I fell off my bike, who brought me pizza at 2 a.m. after a breakup, and who once confessed, during a drunken New Year's Eve, that I was his almost something more. Almost his. But then life did what it does. Scattered us into cities, jobs, time zones. When I got his message saying, "Hey, come visit. We've got a pool now," I didn't think twice. I needed a break from the city, from my corporate chaos, and Jason was always a soft place to land. I didn't know about his wife, though. He hadn't mentioned her. Not once. So when I pulled into their driveway and saw her standing there on the porch, barefoot, sundress clinging gently to her hips like the wind was flirting with her, I froze. "This is Lauren," Jason said, grinning as he opened the door. "My wife." Wait. She extended her hand, but her eyes held me a second longer than polite. Hazel eyes like golden glass with stories trapped inside. "Hi," she said, voice smooth like warm honey. "I've heard a lot about you." I smiled, though I felt the stir of something I couldn't name. Something that curled around my spine like a cat stretching in the sun. Jason got a call just minutes after I arrived and disappeared into his home office. Typical. And so, I found myself in the kitchen with Lauren, sipping sweet tea while she prepped veggies with that kind of calm, graceful confidence I never quite managed in my own kitchen. "You're not what I expected," she said after a moment. I blinked. "What did you expect?" She tilted her head, eyes tracing mine. "I don't know. More distant. More like a memory. But you're real. Very real." There was something in her tone. Admiring. Maybe more. The next day, Jason had meetings and a deadline he couldn't move. Lauren offered to show me the town instead. We walked through antique stores, her arm brushing mine now and then. She laughed easily, and every time she did, it tugged something loose inside me. By lunch, I found myself watching her more than the scenery. The way she bit her lip before speaking. The way she listened. "I can tell why Jason kept you a secret," she said quietly, stirring her lemonade with a straw. I frowned. "A secret?" She glanced up at me, a knowing smirk pulling at her lips. "He always speaks about you like he still wonders." "Wonders?" She leaned in, her elbow on the table, her voice just above a whisper. "What it would have been like if you had said yes back then." I stared at her, heart thudding. And then she said something I didn't expect. "I wonder too." That night I couldn't sleep. Their guest room was cozy, but my mind wasn't. Every time I closed my eyes I saw Lauren. Her soft lips. The way she'd brushed a leaf out of my hair earlier. Fingers lingering just a little too long. Around midnight, I wandered to the kitchen for water. She was there. In silk shorts and a tank top that shimmered like moonlight. "I couldn't sleep either," she said, smiling. "I keep thinking about today." I nodded, words caught in my throat. "I know this might sound crazy," she whispered, stepping closer. "But you look at me like you see something in me that even Jason doesn't." My breath caught. "Do you want me to stop?" She shook her head slowly. The space between us disappeared like it never existed. She didn't touch me, not exactly. But she stood close enough that I could feel the warmth of her. Her fingers grazed mine as she reached for the glass I was holding, letting them linger a beat too long. No one kissed anyone. No line was technically crossed. But something passed between us in that quiet kitchen. Something as real as thunder before a storm. The next day she suggested we go swimming. Jason was at work again. The backyard was wrapped in sunlight and blue sky, and Lauren's body moved through the water like it was made for it. I couldn't stop watching her. "You keep looking," she teased, floating on her back. "You keep giving me reasons to." She swam to the edge and rested her arms on the poolside, gazing up at me. "What are you afraid of?" I sat beside her, feet in the water. That I'll want something I can't have. Her hand slipped over mine underwater, subtle and slow. Maybe you can, she said. That night everything changed. After dinner, Jason passed out on the couch watching some crime doc. Lauren and I stayed in the kitchen, sipping wine and laughing about something silly. But the energy was different now. Charged. She leaned closer with every sentence. Her knee pressed gently against mine. Her eyes dropped to my lips as I talked. When she stood to clear the dishes, I followed. She reached for a plate, but her hand brushed my hip instead. Neither of us moved. She turned, and we were suddenly nose to nose. I don't want to make this confusing, she whispered. Too late, I said. She kissed me then, not rushed, not hesitant. It was like she knew exactly how I wanted to be kissed. Deep and slow, with a softness that melted everything inside me. When she pulled back, I saw her eyes flick toward the hallway where Jason still snored. We're not doing anything wrong, she said, as if reading my mind. But maybe that's what made it feel so electric. We weren't doing anything technically wrong. And yet, we were unraveling something sacred. The rest of that weekend passed in a blur of lingering touches, stolen glances, and long walks where nothing was said, but everything was felt. She never crossed the line, not physically, but emotionally, spiritually. I had never been seen like that before. I left Monday morning with my heart pounding and her scent still on my skin. Jason hugged me tightly, joking. Don't be a stranger. Lauren stood behind him, quiet. As I turned to go, she touched my wrist gently, secretly. Come back soon, she whispered. We still have unfinished stories. I drove away knowing I'd never see Jason the same way again. Because it wasn't him I was dreaming about. It was her. Her laugh. Her mouth. The way her gaze peeled every layer off me like she already knew what was underneath. She was supposed to be his. But something inside me whispered that maybe, just maybe, she was mine too.